So this is probably not the video that you was expecting to have this week, and I hope that you still enjoy this week's video, but there's a few things that's been on my mind for a while, and I feel like today should be the day that I discuss the plans and the future of the channel. And I've talked about, you know, struggling with both plots being so far away, the Grapevine Garden and the Fig and Olive, and people have mentioned it before in comments where I've been transitioning back and forth and saying that's a fair bit of a trek. And to me, I always would be like, you know, it's okay, you know, I can manage it. And this year has been a bit of a struggle, you know, already this year, and especially last winter as well. I was noticing going down there for getting tools, coming back up, and yeah, I'm just being really honest, and something had to give and something had to change for me, because I was struggling. And as much as having both plots, the Grapevine Garden and the Fig and Olive, and the start of the channel was the Grapevine Garden, and you all seen me you know, turn that from something that was like a terrible plot to something that was absolutely beautiful and magical, and I loved, you know, the channel growing and starting from there. And with uni, with work, and trying to cope and struggle with two plots and having a channel, and you know, and trying to get all my coursework done, and it's been a struggle, a real struggle, and something needs to change. And I've decided to give up the Grapevine Garden. Now, I know a few of you, well, probably quite a lot, will comment saying that they, you know, that was their favourable plot and they loved it, and you know, a lot of people have been inspired by that plot and how the design was, and you know, but I've always said that a plot is just you know, a base of land. I as much as I've got some great memories from there, and I also from my plot before that, to me it's just a plot, and wherever I go, I know I can transform it or change it. So the channels stay in, but the Grapevine Gardens go in. But there's something exciting happening, which I talked about last week, and I've actually taken on a different plot, which is right next to the Fig and Olive, and that will either become the new Grapevine Garden, which I'll talk about in a bit, or will have a new name. But let's go over there now, and I'll show you what's going to be an extension of the Fig and Olive plot and to the channel. Let's go. So this is the new plot. Whether or not it stays as the Grapevine Garden or as a new name, I've moved. Now, you're probably wondering, like, why would you do that? Why would you change plots when the Grapevine Garden was established? It's proximity to the Fig and Olive. The Fig and Olive is right there. And this was, you know, always going to be the plan, that one day I would move, because this is closer to the car park, to the bark, to everything that I need. And the Grapevine Garden, as much as I've got a lot of history there, and you've all seen me change that plot so many times and grow as a gardener, as a YouTuber, some things just doesn't last forever. Now, as you know, I love a project. I love an old plot that needs to be brought back to life, and I'm hoping that you'll in time understand why I've moved from the Grapevine Garden and the magic that I'm going to create on this plot. Yes, there is 7-foot brambles, weeds galore, but today Linda, Doug, Cheryl, Dale, Ollie, Lisa, some of my plot friends are coming up. Just the start of the plot. Yes, I could do it myself, but I'm in dire need because all my crops are ready to go out, and I've been holding this secret for about 2 weeks, waiting for it to be confirmed that I can have this plot. Now, the issue then was that the Grapevine Garden was all ready to be planted up, and I'd already manured all the beds, I'd composted the beds, and then this came up here, and I was like, ah. So I was in limbo for 2 weeks whether or not I could put the plants in that plot down there, or if I did, then I would have to leave that plot, and then I'd lose all my crops. So I've officially been given this plot. It's 2 half plots, which is now combined to 1. And they're going to come over today, and they're going to help me just to quickly get at least you know, a few beds down, and I want to put my beans up and get it all done. And we all know we're going to have a bit of a chuckle and a laugh, but they're hoping to dig up some of the plot. I'm going to dig before I know dig and get all the beds up. And as you can see, this allotments plot is, it's got a bit of work to do to it, but there's no mare's tail, there's no bindweed, but there is plenty of other things that you do. So they're going to head up here now in a bit, and I've already started already, but they're going to come up and help me just to quickly get a few beds down so I can start planting up. So let's go.
To the city streets, we began to feel the fire.
Not bad soil actually. It's better than an old bindweed plot.
As the chemicals
Right, let's go dig in.
The night's young, and it's just begun. As she puts her hand in mine, we wanna chase the night, wanna dance to the light, pull the stars from the sky, just two hearts running wild. Never sleep, never stop, as we shout from the top. We're gonna be two hearts running wild. Now the morning is the afternoon. We lay awake in bed. The laughs so loud as the hours pass. We're gonna do it all again. We wanna chase the night, wanna dance to the light, pull the stars from the sky, just two hearts running wild. Never sleep, never stop.
So as you can see, we've been busy. Linda, Doug, Cheryl and Dale, they are diggers through and through. I mean, look how much has been done. All the weeds have been taken up this now. Me and Ollie brought some beds up. I put up the bean structure already because that's one of the things that I dire need to get out, and also my swede and my cabbages. So in the next day or two, I'm going to get up another couple more beds and put them down, and I can plant up my brassicas and my beans. At least that takes the pressure off a little bit, but already the plot is taking shape. So I know some of you will be really sad and be like, you know, it's a shame because the Grapevine Garden was one of your favourites. But I'm sure this will have just as much charm as that one in time. I'm going to keep to the similar sort of style. These beds will be shortened in time, so there will be a small path in between. There is already a concrete path here. Over this side, I'm going to put the fruit cage and some fruit trees, which I'm going to dig up in autumn from the Grapevine Garden. But these will all be my crops. It will be a little bit, you know, formal, but I've got a fig and olive plot that I can do that. But yeah, so it's goodbye the Grapevine Garden. I'm toyed back and forth how I was going to do these videos. Was I going to do it all and then show you later on that I transformed it over and be a bit of a big surprise? But I decided that you might want to see the transformation, all the little projects, and I don't learn, do I? I never ever settle with a plot, but this is hopefully going to be one of the forever plots. But the plan is to have 8 beds going down. Maybe the mini polytunnel might come up. The greenhouse is staying. I've sold that to another plot holder. There is already a greenhouse on here which has been given to me, so I might do that up. This old shed over in the corner is almost, you know, it's been one of the oldest sheds on site, I think. I think it is the oldest shed on site. It needs to be taken down. But I'm planning on using all those doors and making a nice potting shed over in the corner, or maybe in the centre. There is a pear and a cherry tree on here, I think. Or it might be a pear and an apple tree. We shall see. And there's so many plans for this plot that I'm excited to show you. And hopefully you'll continue this experience with me as well. And this will be a bit more of a formal plot, but the fig and olive as well will be right next to it. So yeah, plenty to do. So the day's almost over. I'm going to get some of the beans out, I think. Tomorrow's another day, but let's get the beans out first, and then tomorrow, plenty more to do.
You make me nervous. I think I might be hooked on you. All of the things you said to me, it seems like you like me too. We can take it slow, make sure we do this right. Canceled all my plans to be with you tonight. So just sit with me, talking to the night until the morning, building chemistry. I don't think I ever wanna go, come closer next to me. Trying to find another way to say this, but I think we were meant to be.
It actually feels really strange planting out on a new plot, and the structure that I've taken down from the grapevine garden and brought up here and planted on the new plot seems really strange, because that was not in the plan for this year, and the plot just came up, and I was offered the other half, and then it was just not big enough, and then I was offered the other half. You know, the owners of that plot decided that it was too much for them as well, and it was not in the plan. But I need to think of the bigger picture, and for later on in the future of the channel, and whether or not I can continue. You know, I can't keep an eye on that plot as much as this one, and I do have the polytunnel on here, so it was one had to go, and obviously that one's next to the fig and olive plot, which worked out perfect for me. But there's plenty going to go on there, loads of different changes. The fruit cage will be built on there now, which is perfect. I'm really grateful that all the people that came today, Linda, Doug, Cheryl, Dale, Ollie, Lisa, all come up and help me, because I wouldn't have got as much as I did as I have done today. But tomorrow's another day. I also want to plant up my veg truck as well at home at some point this week. So there's plenty to go on. I hope that you'll understand my decisions. And it wasn't an easy one, I promise you. This has been back and forward deciding for weeks. But for the longevity of the channel and for my happiness, I know it's going to be the right decision. So yeah. So it's a new day. Mark is on his way up to trim the new plot, and then hopefully I can get this jungle of plants out, because they just, like I mentioned before, they've just been hanging around because I had nowhere to put them. I had no plot, they had no home. So now they have got a new home. I've just looked over, and the runner beans that I planted out last night, no slugs have attacked them, so they're looking strong. Hopefully they'll twist around the canes in the next day or two. But today I'm going to focus over there. I also want to get out my onions, because the red onions I mentioned last week have bolted, so they got to get out, find something to put in those beds. So yeah, don't waste that space. I'm thinking maybe the courgette, I could put a courgette in there. Don't know, I've never put a courgette in one of my raised beds before, which is fine to do, but just never done it. So decisions to make. It's quite exciting, because new plot, new design. But I think this initial design will just be to get the plants out, and then in autumn I might move some of the beds around, or, you know, redesign it a little bit more again. But for now, the main priority is to get these things out, poor things. So all is not lost. I have lost a few of the brown ones and a pile of the red, but they're okay. I can chop those up, pop them in the freezer, so they're not wasted, but they're just a bit annoying. I think it was that influx of heat, then rain. It's just one of those things. Onions, eh? But all is not lost. Like I said, I'll pop these in the freezer, chop them up, and they'll be good to go then for use in summer and winter, I suppose. No allium leaf miner, which is good. They were netted all through the spring, early spring, but you know when they've gone to bolt, they bolted, because they pop these little seed heads out. Now if they're on your elephant garlic, that's okay. They're, you know, the scapes, they're fine. But these on onions, they're not good, because once you get those, the middle of these then get a bit tougher, and yeah, starts to flower rather than making these little into big red bulbs. So never mind. Oh, also I bought myself a sweet potato at the garden centre. Now my sweet potatoes, maybe I should have started them off a little bit, you know, earlier, but I've got myself a slip, so I'm going to plant this. So this one's called Beauregard, and it's looking healthy. I think I paid $5.49 for that though, but I'm going to pop this up as well into a bigger pot, and then maybe next week I'll put it out into the raised bed in the polytunnel, and then the tomatoes and all go out then as well. So once all this comes out, planted on the new plot, which I haven't named yet. I don't know whether or not just have a extension of the Fig and Olive, or call it the Grapevine Garden again, Grapevine Garden 2. But that's going to go there, so if I do, I have to put a grapevine there. I've also got a kiwi plant that I need to plant out as well somewhere, probably over there in the fruit area. So everything needs to go out, but I've got nowhere to put it yet. But next couple of days, all things are going to change. Also an update on the Grapevine Garden. So someone else is looking into that who's got a plot already, and they're thinking about swapping over. And you know, I've talked to them about certain things that they might want to buy. It saved me bringing it up, and also have I got the space for it, like a greenhouse. I've already got one on there that I might want to build up. I've always wanted a green framed greenhouse, so, or black framed greenhouse, that'd be another ideal. But so I'm thinking I might do this one up, sell my other one, and also I haven't got many chickens done in now, and I'm not sure what I'm going to do on this plot. And to be honest, with uni coming up, and next year is going to be so intense, so intense. I know the other plot holders inquired about whether or not to keep the coop there, and he can have the chickens and look after them, and I know he'd look after them really well. So, and there isn't many now, and it's such a tie with holidays, work, and the avian bird flu as well. I always feel, you know, I haven't got, especially with this plot now, it's smaller than the Grapevine plot, and yeah, I'm toying whether or not to, he can adopt them, and I can always go down and see him and whatnot. But yeah, there's a few decisions I've got to make, and I think the greenhouse is being sold to him as well. Don't know about the mini polytunnel, I haven't decided where that's going yet. I just don't know what to do with, it's just come out of the blue and it's been a bit quick. But yeah, I've been tossing back and forth with the birds for a while, the chickens, because of avian flu. It's such a, you know, horrible thing when it happens, because I remember last year they were locked up from like the summer all the way till spring, and it was a long time, you know, and it's a long time for birds to be locked up for that amount of time, and I hated it as well. And I keep, you know, when the birds die, I keep getting upset about it as well. You know, I don't like going over there and finding one of them, you know, that's passed. So yeah, there's some decisions to make, and I'm gonna make them myself. So yeah, I'll make them my decisions. So I would prefer if you didn't comment about the chickens, telling me to keep them or not keep them, because it needs to be what's best for me and for them. Yeah. Oosh. No, right, let's get down to the plot, let's get some gardening done, and let's make it look a bit more tidier. So, the shed at the back, it's so old. Honestly, I've got a picture of the shed from, it must be about 60, 70 years ago. I'll pop it on the screen now, you can see that it was sure. It has changed over time, you know, people have added windows and moved things about a bit, but this original shed has been here for a long time, but I don't know if it's safe. I really don't think it is safe, so I might have to do something with that once we sort out this jungle of brambles. And under there, I believe, if I remember when I first came up to the plot, there's some gooseberry black currants in there as well. We've also got here, which I've had a look since, We've got a pear tree. And I believe this is an apple tree. I think this is an apple tree. And a bit random why they planted them so close together, but hey ho. I might move this in autumn as well and put them more spaced out a bit more. At the back, we've got a mound of like waste that's been rotting down. So, and there's some rhubarb over there as well. So I think, hopefully end of the year, there'll be some nice compost. We shall see. But look, good lord, look. I'm dreading this. What have I done? I hope the sound's okay on this. I haven't put the mic and all on, so never done this before, but we shall see. But hopefully it'll be okay. But let me show you what else that I've been given on the plot. So there was a bed here, but at least there's a nice good bit of compost there as well. I'll weed that over today as well. Perhaps a plant up. There's another bed here, but then there's greenhouse as well. Now I would prefer to have glass. I just like the fact that you can see through. There's quite a bit of work to do to it, but we shall see. It'll be a future project anyway, but we'll see about that. There's quite a few little things that I've acquired, which is strange for me, but also at the back of here there's a good bit of space as well. You know what wasted space that is, so I think I might move the greenhouse at some point as well, because I don't like having all that space wasted. There's a little patio area here, and we've got some of those blue barrels which I don't want. There was some barrels here as well, but I've given them to Ollie, so he's taken them away. Don't mind this white one, this can stay. But yeah, so far, now the plan is that these beds I'll put like a little gap in between, not a path, but just more space, so that when I put the clips down for the nets, there's a bit of space. But for now I'm planting up in them, and then maybe in autumn then I can chop them down a bit. But now I'm having orderly beds going down, and I can always access them going all the way across these paths. So yeah, but yeah, Fig and Olive is right there. Also a little update, we've got water, so that's good news. We've got some water on the plot. That would stress me out a little bit. But another thing I want to do is, I think once that's been trimmed by Mark, I'm going to put all the potato buckets over onto that plot as well, so I've got some more space over here. So the ball is rolling.
I'm walking down the street on clouds instead of the concrete. I'm dancing through. Everything's about to come my way. Nothing can ruin my day, no matter what anyone does or say. I smile at fools. No, I don't care, 'cause I am on my way up, and I won't stop. I won't slow down. Steady on my feet. I'm going.
So Mark's been and gone. Also Ollie helped me move over the potato buckets over to the new plot. It's an absolute glorious day. The mountain looks spectacular as always. I also harvested some of one of the buckets, which were potatoes that I didn't harvest last year, and they started growing again. So they started dying down, so I harvested them. Give Mark some potatoes, some Charlotte potatoes, and also some red onions that are bolted. So he's going to make himself a potato salad with that tonight. So he's been paid for doing this trimming job, so I was happy to do that. I've got a couple of potatoes as well. I'm going to go over and I'm going to harvest the cabbage out of the polytunnel as well. New potatoes, cabbage, and also some minted lamb chops for tea tonight. So I'm looking forward to that. Let's go show you what else I've got to do today. So I'm thinking that because I haven't got the compost until tomorrow, I might make another bean structure now. At least that's done. I can get the beans out. I can always put the compost around it later on to mulch. Also, the leeks need to go out at some point, the cabbages. There's a lot to do. I'm wondering whether I should just plant them out, net them up now, and then tomorrow then I can just mulch the beds over with compost. So, decisions. It is coming along now. So the weed membrane's down at the moment. I think I might use this for pumpkins later on, and then in the autumn then take this up, dig out all the docks that's under there. I've also got to tackle that at some point, but there is plans for this for the fruit cage area. The potatoes, like I mentioned, are down here now. I'm gonna have to carry on digging down. There's two beds over here which have surfaced, so I need to weed them as well. All the potatoes are here now as well, and I also want to add my irrigation watering system that I did have in a polytunnel into there, into all these buckets as well. So there's plans, there's so many plans, that's the problem. but so far, within a couple of hours, it's looking all right. Look at that. A nice April cabbage in May. So it's day 3 of the new plot. I'm going to try and plant out as much as I can in the polytunnel now. At least that's done, and then in the next couple of days, hopefully then I can put the tomatoes in. So staging will need to come out, shelving down, but for now the priority is, even if I don't make the raised beds up, I can still mulch the beds with compost and then plant into it, and then hopefully then later on then I can put the beds on if I need to. But the plan is try and get out as much as I can today. Let's go. So I'm sat here having a cold drink because it is absolutely boiling, and I look over to the side of the pond, and last year Michelle, one of my members, you know who you are, Michelle, thank you so much, donated a rose bush to the channel, and it was a nice gift. And I've just had a look over, and the first rose ever on it has actually bloomed. So thank you so much, Michelle, for that beautiful gift. I'm absolutely over the moon. It's made me smile just looking over and seeing that beautiful red rose in bloom. So I've finally got some of the brassicas out, 6 Durham Early and 6 of my favourite, the Calabos, netted and hooped. So at least some's in now, so in time I'll plant them all out. But it's a little bit warm now, so I'm going to have a little drink and then get back to work. So Cheryl's dropped over this water feature, similar to my one over by the barrel. Her son's donated it to her, she's painted it up, and now I've modified it because it was connected to this one here, which is like a plug, for the home. So I've set up a solar panel for it now, reconnected it so that this will be solar powered for her over her plot. So it's all fitted up. I'm just going to add a few more screws now just to make it a bit stronger, and then we'll pop it over to her plot. So we're ticking the jobs off slowly. So this was it at the start, and this is it now. So within a matter of 3 days, we're seeing a lot of progress. So I'm pleased with it. I'm absolutely pleased with what I've done so far, and also the help that I've had off other people. So massively, massively grateful. So I brought out all the brassicas now to harden off. They're just too hot in the polytunnel for them. Eventually they'll be planted over there. But for now, it's going to rain for the next couple of days, so at least they'll get a good bit of rainwater on them, and then they can be planted out. But for now, they're out here hardening off under some net to keep the pigeons off, and also the cabbage butterfly white. So yeah, progress has been made. I am absolutely over the moon with the amount of progress in 3 days. 3 days now I've turned that allotment around, but there's always another day for another job. I'm Danny, and this is Grow Up.